Okay, so I just go home. Let me set. I'm setting up. Just give me some few minutes. I'll share my
Okay.
screen. Yeah.
So how do you want someone else to go while you are doing that setup? Brenda, do you want someone else to go while you are
No,
doing?
no, no. I think I can go now. I think I
Okay,
can go
okay,
now. Let me just share my screen.
okay, please do.
Okay. How do you share screen again? I've forgotten. Okay. Here we are.
Okay, so let me walk you through how to create. Like now, for instance, can you guys still hear me well?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
So let's imagine that I don't have a virtual network existing, right? So I'll just
Okay.
follow the normal processes, creating what do I call it? A
Virtual
virtual
machine.
machine. So um, test. So this is it. East US. Select this thing. Availability zone. No infrastructure. Do you understand this availability zone? Please put it as no infrastructure redundancy required. Please, do you get that? The next thing
All right.
again, security type, trusted launch, and so on and so forth. Just choose standard. You understand? Choose standard to save your stuff yourself. The next thing again, you choose the year. You can choose Windows Server 2025 or anyone you choose. You feel is better for you. Okay, I'm just choosing this. For instance, my B series. You understand? I'm choosing my B series. That's one. Username and password. Let me just do type something for my username and password. So I'm just typing something randomly, you understand, but just for us to get the concept. Now I'm allowing RDP for my remote desktop. And the next thing again I'm doing is that I am going to nest disk uh declared I'm coming let me see what it's saying. Changing basic option reset select some this thing you have made review all options prior to creating a virtual machine. Yeah, we'll do the review. Just ignore the username and password I'm using. It's just for testing purpose. So the next thing you do our disk.
So,
Uh,
sorry, sir. That VM architecture is what again?
okay, should I go back? Which one? Yeah, it's X64.
64.
Yes,
Okay.
X64, please. Yeah. So you select the next thing you select your disk. You understand? So you can select this one default 127. Don't select premium. I said it initially. Just select standard HDD to save yourself the cost. This VM with this thing, blah 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 blah, and that's all about this. Next one is what I want us to put emphasis on: networking. For instance, I don't have an existing virtual network. You understand? It's going to tell me new virtual network. You understand? New. That means it wants to create a new virtual network for me. You get it? I can click new, creating a new virtual network. Now, the subnet, I'm creating a new subnet. So to create a new subnet for me. The next thing, public IP address, none, I don't have any public IP address, or you can click on create new public IP address. So I can be able to use connect to it. You just click on basic assignment, assignment. You can use a static public IP address, and that's all. So the difference between static IP address and dynamic is that static, the IP address will remain the same. The public IP address will remain the same. Dynamic public IP address means that the IP address will be changing like every now and then. So I can say my test public IP, and that's all. Okay. I've already created a new public IP test, public IP address. My network interface, I'm selecting basic. My public inbound ports allow selected ports, and that's my RDP majorly. After that, delete nick and when VM is created, and that's all. So do you understand this place to this networking aspect of it? You understand? So really the other things that really matters are all those like nest management. You can just skip all those ones, kind of, except you have one thing, except you want to do this shutdown. I recommended that you should do also, and put your email address in there. So notification, uh, that's everything about it majorly. And you go to your advanced, your tags, and you can create a tag alongside with it as based on what I recommended in the video. And also just go to review and create. You understand? So mine, I didn't do some things well because of the password I used. I intentionally left it like that. So with these few points, I just walked you through what to do when you don't have an existing virtual network. You understand? So use that same method based on what I did to create your own your VM, your virtual network, and public IP address, the DIX, network interface, and so on. So any questions?
Okay, all right. You just answered my questions, my question rather, because I was about asking, does it mean that you can create a virtual machine without a virtual network? But you
No.
just answered my question by doing all this.
Okay, okay. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. So this is the main process. I just need to walk through around it. So anybody with any other question again, Oluwaseun, and I saw you have a network issue during the process. Any question as regards to what I just explained briefly now? Any question on that thing? Please let's look at these things I did. Yeah, so we should put them as being paramount, kind of. Number one, availability zone. Change the availability zone to no infrastructure redundancy required. Please, do you understand? That's for availability zone. For security type, please use standard. Do you get it? Use standard. And also, um, now check your pricing. The price, I know that the pricing is kind of
Tunde, please mute. Tunde, please mute.
so the pricing kind of Tunde, can you mute yourself? Okay. So the pricing kind of is really affecting many of all these things. Yeah, I understand you guys are having some issues with the pricing. So let's discuss this pricing kind of with the least time we still have again. So when you go to the pricing, select pricing. Good. So you can see that this thing has a lot of calculation involved in it based on what I explained initially. So, how much do you want to use your virtual machine? What kind of loads are you having in your virtual machines? Those things are things that you have to look at before creating your virtual machine. Like now, for instance, the virtual machines we are creating today in our classes now, they are just for testing purposes. They are not for high compute, quote and unquote, high compute resources. They are just for testing purposes. Because they are for testing purposes, we can now say, okay, let's do something minimal, like using something like a B1 series or a B2 series, or using any of the B series. We can use any of the B series for it, and you can see that their prices are quite cheaper in compared to the other ones also. And this B series 2, V2, let me see, their prices are kind of higher compared to it. But you can use but left to me, I will just suggest that please just use the B1 series. So you just use something like B1S. B1S is going to give you $7 per month, or you can use this one. This one too is still preferable. You can use this one if that one to work for you, and it's kind of cheaper and comparable to the other um, CVs that we have up here. Also, another thing again I want us to look at today is this person is not in class. I would have said we should use his virtual machine as a test on how to remote into a virtual machine. So I will use the virtual machine that we have here in this subscription as a test on how to remote to a virtual machine. So to remote to a virtual machine is very easy. So let me give a full screen of my screen. I'm sharing it. Just one. Let me make it full entire screen. Yeah. Can you see my entire screen now? I hope you can see my entire screen.
Yes, we can see. Yes, we can see.
Okay, good. So now, when you create your virtual machine, what you will do next is this. Open your virtual machine, go to where your virtual machine is, and just open it, dev. I'm expanding this. So for instance, we have this virtual machine that is here. Can you see it? You will come to this place where you have the public IP address. Paste it. You can copy the public IP address, go to your system and search for remote desktop. Something like this will come out. Can you see it? Something like this would come out. After that, you put in your IP address, this IP address that you copied here. Put in your IP address here and connect. So it's going to bring out a place where you have to put in that username and password. Please, when you are putting in the username and password, this why this one is not connecting is because this virtual machine is presently on stop. You understand? Let me now start it up so you can see starting the virtual machine, how it works. Let me start the virtual machine. So please, when you are not using the virtual machine, you can stop it. Please, can you see what I'm doing? You can come here to stop it when you are not using it, please, just to save yourself some cost. When you want to use it, you can come back here and just start it up and you'll be fine. So the virtual machine is starting up, starting virtual machine. So while it's starting, I think it's already up now. I think, let me just refresh my page. Okay, I think my virtual machine is up. So I can start my virtual machine just going to, after starting my virtual machine, I'm copying the the public IP address that is here. Please note your public IP address, not the private IP address, public IP address. Copy your public IP address, go to your remote desktop connection, put in your public IP address there and click on connect. When you click on connect, you see it's going to bring something called username and password. Can you see it? So in the place of username, you put in that username that you used when you were creating the virtual machine. That's what you put here in the username. And in the password that you used when creating the virtual machine is what you put put here also. You understand? So that's what you put in there. After that, you click on OK and you connect to your virtual machine. Please, do you understand? Anybody any question on this? This example.
No question from me.
Okay. Anybody else?
No question for now, but I'm still having issues with this cost
Eh,
thing.
Okay.
Okay. So my question is, I do really see where you when you clicked the monitoring this thing. That part when you is it I've forgotten what you call that thing again. That monitoring thing you clicked
This remote
before
desktop.
you stopped the virtual machine and paused the virtual machine. Yes, this remote desktop connection. Yes, where you clicked it from.
Okay, so you
Is it,
just
is it just going to pop up like that?
no on your personal system. On your personal system, go to the search icon. You get it, and type remote desktop. Do you see it? Can you see it?
Yes.
So once you click on the remote desktop, it's going to bring out this for you, and you copy your public IP address, put it into it, and click on connect. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's how it works. So after that, you can log into it and look at your virtual machine. So next week, we will now try to, when you log into the virtual machine, I will now show you how you can be able to work on your virtual machine, what are the things you need to do, and so on, how to set up your virtual machine, how to install some little applications on your virtual machine, and all those little things. I'll just walk you through on that next week inside the virtual machine. So everybody will be able to go into their virtual machine, copy files into their virtual machine, set up IaaS in their virtual machine, and so on and so forth. And you will be able to see how it works, how virtual machines kind of work, why it is called a server. You understand? So I will go through that next week. Thank you. Um, is there any other thing again? Another thing again I want to talk about today before we go. I'm coming. I'm trying to look for. I'm trying to look for something here, so I can just show you guys once and for all. So password. Okay. So, so this is what I want to show you. You know, in some scenarios, many of us forget our passwords to the virtual machine. You understand? You can just search under app. You see reset password. You understand? Put in the username of the virtual machine and put in the password, the new password and the old password, and update. And alas, you are inside, you have said you set your password. Is that username and password that you will now use to connect to your virtual machine? Please, do you understand that? That is for some people that miss their password to their uh, virtual machine. So I hope you guys understand this little thing I just explained.
Yes. What if you okay, this one is for reset, but what if you forget your username and password, for instance? What would be the remedy?
You must know your username before you can reset your password. You must actually know your username. You understand? You understand? In virtual machine, you can have some virtual machine having many passwords. You get it, many users, no problem with that. But at least you must know the username that you want to reset password for. You understand? So the username, after the username, put in the new password, confirm the password, and update, and that's all. Please, do you understand? So
Yes,
that
sir.
is that is main thing. So after that, I don't think there's any major thing that you should look into different from the backup and disaster recovery. So we'll talk about that in when we get to the advanced level of these classes. You get it? Then we'll talk about how to do backup for virtual machine, backup for other Azure services, and how disaster recovery actually works. You understand? Also, as regards to availability and scale sets, it just talks mainly about the size. Like now, I want to scale, increase the size of this virtual machine. the virtual machine is a B1 series, and I feel like I need to increase the size of the virtual machine to a higher size. I can go and increase and change it and say, oh, no, no, no. Like now, presently, the virtual machine size, I can come back here and say, no, I want to increase the size of this virtual machine. And I'll say, okay, this time around, I want to use presently the virtual machine is using this. I want to say, okay, I want to use something much higher. I will just come back. I will just come here, resize, go to availability plus scale, select size, and increase the size of the virtual machine. Alas, just resize and it will increase the size of the virtual machine to the higher version of that I need or a lower version that I need, and that's all. So that's about the resize and sizing. Availability and scaling. This one works when you are talking about using availability skets, availability sets virtual machines. You understand? So this one is just talk about when you have a virtual machine and you want that virtual machine to scale, maybe the resource, maybe the amount of processing it is doing. You want the virtual machine to increase and reduce auto scaling. That's what a virtual variety set kind of does for virtual machines, but we are not going into it for this particular virtual machine. This is just a test virtual machine, not a production virtual machine. Also, other things I think we should look at, please, that auto shutdown, please note it. Also, when you have to run command, that's mean like I want to run a command against my virtual machine and I don't really need to log into my virtual machine. I can run this PowerShell, click on the PowerShell command that I want to run, and it will run it against my virtual machine, and I'm fine. After that, this is updates. This is like if the virtual machine wants to undergo a major update and so on and so forth. So health, health monitoring, health monitoring, this thing, configuration management, policies, inventory change. All these things are not majorly important. Major thing I think is important here is your auto shutdown and the run command for now. That's what I want you guys to look at. Also, for the monitoring metrics, we'll come back to talk about this when we are talking about metrics and monitoring. Awesome. Lastly, automation. This is when you, like, for instance, I want to export this, the things I use, the templates I use to create this virtual machine. I want to export it out. In that, I want to use that same template to create on that virtual machine. You understand? So that is what this templates kind of does. When we get to infrastructure as a code, I will talk about this ARM templates, biceps, and Terraform. I think that is when we get to the advanced classes of using infrastructure as a code. So all these things I'm doing now for now, we are using the manual method of creating all these resources. In the later time, please, quote and unquote, in the later time, we will be using IAC to create all these things, meaning we're using infrastructure as a code. For instance, you use, I'll walk you through majorly on Terraform. You understand? How to use Terraform to create resources and so on and so forth. That will be in the later classes that we'll get to use that. Awesome. So I think that's that about that majorly.